We first saw Ryan Newman's horrific crash at Daytona, we wondered, how's he going to survive this? Well, he's now recuperating at home, walking right out of the hospital.
Yeah, very good news. A great sight yesterday. And Dale Hansen has some thoughts on just how far we've come in car safety and how far we have to go. Here's his extra point.
That Ryan Newman crash at Daytona Monday night got me to thinking again about what great minds can do if they come together chasing a common goal. They wanted to make NASCAR safer, and they did. So less than 48 hours after watching Newman's car hit the wall, go airborne, get hit by another car, and slide across the finish line, catching on fire, 48 hours later, he walks out of the hospital with his two daughters. They're still not saying what his injuries are, which does make me wonder why. But I fell down a couple of steps 2 years ago, and I couldn't walk for a week. We could make all cars that safe, but it would cost too much. But imagine if the countries of the world quit spending money on bombs and the jets and ships that deliver them to kill people who don't look like us, and we spent that money to make the world a safer, better place. Think what we could do then. I've always wanted to live in a Star Trek world where all the great minds come together chasing a common goal, because we could do anything, but we'd still have to deal with those crazy Klingons. I'm Dale Hansen. Enjoy your day.